Great. Thank you, everybody, for your attention and for your participation in this workshop. My name is Jane Mahoney, and I am at the University of Groningen. I am a lecturer of English, as well as a programs coordinator and the Language Center AI in Education consultant. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the realities of what happened in November of 2022. The launch of GPT, as everybody knows, it gave rise to accessible LLMs, large language models, and related apps. And by 2025, it's predicted that there will be 700 million apps that will be using LLMs. Right now, it affects almost every aspect of work and education, unnecessary changes in current approaches that we have to deal with. We are going to need insightful training, planning, and open-mindedness with regards to AI in education. It takes up a lot of time and energy for planning and changes, as you already know. And the education and training is essential. It's not a possibility.
Yeah, you know what he produces with you?
Sorry, somebody's got a mic on. Can you be careful and switch off? Or we can switch that one off, I think, Jovi. Thanks. Back to you, Jane.
Okay, and resting on laurels, that means just being satisfied with what has been done, is not recommended because constant change is going to be needed. The important people involved in this change are, of course, students at the bottom level, teachers in the mid-level, and then institutional boards. And for those of you who are at the student level, I don't think there are very many, but all of you are involved with students, so I think this is applicable. I'm going to give you 3 examples of how students are involved in AI. For instance, they need to learn the process of learning, whatever it is they're learning, before using AI. This example number 1 is an econometrics professor who had a problem. He was dead set against AI last year in 2023. He teaches Excel functions for part of his statistics course. And so he was discovering that the students, of course, their homework assignments were not perfect, but they were instantly done, and with very little thought. Homework and testing didn't make sense to go ahead with without monitoring AI, and because it was obvious that the students used AI to complete the homework without understanding the functions at all. His solution then was to change the way he was teaching the process. He gave problems in class to work on in Excel and then used AI to check it. And the students then the assignment was that the students learned to fix the errors. So they had to learn the processes themselves. It was monitored. A second example is at the UMCG, 2 professors had courses where these students, medical students, had to learn how to interview with patients. The problem was that they didn't know how to talk to them. They didn't have any practice with real life patients yet. So the solution was that the two professors created a private chatbot that was applicable to the medical students. The students then use this AI tool to practice different scenarios, and then in-class tests were based on what they practiced with these AI avatars. I'll talk later a little bit more about that. Example 3 is academic writing students, and again, they have to learn the process before using AI. The solution, these were first years as well as master's and PhD courses. The solution was that we have a pretest without the internet, either in a classroom or an exam hall, depending on the university setup. We use that pretest text to teach the range, coherence, accuracy, and structure, or the writing and research processes. We do that before using any type of AI. In the meantime, we're using non-generative AI to work on these skills and writing processes. Then we have a midterm without the internet again, and they receive detailed feedback from us. And then we use Gen AI for them to rewrite the same paper, and they can see the differences between their paper and Gen AI product, and they either receive feedback from Gen AI or give feedback on what they did wrong. Then they rewrite the paper without the internet and get a peer review. The post-exam is without the internet. We have an amazing results between the before picture and the after picture, and it's met with very good results as far as progress goes. The next group of people who need to be involved in the AI in education is teachers. They have to be ready for change. For those of you who are here today, most of you said that you are already using AI for the most part, and so you are probably not one of these teachers who are worried about change. But for those who aren't, and those who are probably not here, they do need to consider curriculum changes or learning objective changes, how to ensure the non-use of AI, and also making sure that critical thinking skills are incorporated in the use of AI in the classroom. They have to learn how to make adjustments to the lesson plans. And some of you teachers have also indicated that you're using for content planning, so you're already well aware of this. Changing activities for in-class process learning, changing the assessments. We're currently doing a study on whether AI in assessments compared to AI to feedback given by actual teachers is as effective. They need to use Gen AI for students to critique differences, shortcomings, components according to the rubrics, and then to also learn to change post-assessment procedures. They need to also remember that they need to initiate these changes in technical approaches, chatbots, their activities, any of their lesson plans. What is needed though for these teachers, because these teachers are already well aware that these are needs, is that the institutions from the top down need to support these changes and progress. Some universities have not yet developed clear policies and guidelines on the use of AI in teaching, research, and student work, and they don't have specific consequences for misuse. They also need to focus on the equity and inclusion. Our university is trying to find which AI tools we can incorporate in our LMS, our learning system, that still includes bias-free marketing and equal access to AI tools for everybody, students, staff alike. Support the faculty and curriculum course design, and that means time and training, investing in the tools, and establishing AI review committees. They need to review practices and ensure responsibilities, maintain readiness and awareness of new developments. So those are the three people who are actually involved in this, in the AI in education. Students need to learn the processes. Teachers need to be ready for the change, and institutions need to prepare. Before I go, I would like to give you the website to the private chatbot that these two professors made. It's a good example of creating something for your university, your own university, that will still be private and still be usable. Here is an example of the use of it. The bot was Bob the teacher. The blue is my prompt of what I entered, and the gray is what Bob reacted to. And I'm running out of time, so I want to include my tools list that I have developed since December of 2022. It's constantly changing. The last update was 1 April, not April Fools, but 1 April. And it is a 10-page list of tools for teachers, students, and researchers in most aspects of education. I do have a disclaimer on the bottom, is that the free status is constantly changing, so that can't be guaranteed, and also just the presence of these tools. I hope that you have gotten something out of my presentation, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Jane. Thank you. In fact, we're just putting those links gone into the chat for everybody to see, particularly your list of tools. I think everybody's really enthusiastic at having an opportunity to see what tools we're all using. And indeed, as Dovie said, we'll share the PowerPoints. Just checking to see if there are any questions at the moment. Please put any questions that you might have for Jane into the chat, and I can pick them up. I just wondered, I mean, Jane, you're talking about a lot of services, a lot of support to staff at the moment in Groningen. It's a lot. I mean, have you got a dedicated department now within the university, or how are you managing this?
We are a little bit factioned at the moment. We have several education departments within each individual faculty, and they have already made their own policies. And now we're all trying to come together in forms of connective organizations as well as training organizations. We've got community of practices, which are greatly helping the teachers, but we're just at the very beginning of everything.
Yeah, I can imagine. And in terms of kind of enthusiasm and being willing to take extra time, are your teaching staff, how open are they at the moment, if it's fair to ask?
As I mentioned, they are open. Many of them, though, are so busy that they don't have the time. And that's where I think it needs to work from the top down. They need to support the teachers in order to be able to make the changes, and the teachers then can make the changes for the students.
Yeah. And have you seen one good thing that your senior management have done so far that others can learn from to make it better?
In our faculty, at least in our department, the Language Center, we've been given freedom to be able to create change our curriculum and follow up on it, assess whether it's working, and then we make some changes as necessary. And they're also responsible for my opportunity to have this research on using assessment compared to teacher assessment.
Okay, so they're supporting that research directly in order to be able to share the results. Yeah. I see a Serge question. Thank you very much. What tools did you use to create the medical chat?
They use the API from ChatGPT 4. And because ChatGPT 5 is coming out soon, they'll probably move the API to that. The tokens and everything are paid for not by the university, but by an individual who is going to be opening a business in this.
Okay. Any other questions from anybody for the moment? We'll have Jane. Jane will be leaving a little bit early this afternoon, but she'll be with us for the next little while. So feel free to put any questions that you might have to her into the chat. She'll be able to answer there, even if she has to leave us at about 3:15. Thank you, Jane. Thanks very much. And we're going to slightly change then we're going to slightly change country. We're going to move a bit down south, and we're coming to KU Leuven, to Lien, Castelein and Stefan Huyghe, who are going to talk to us about KU Leuven and responsible use. I think, Lien, you're starting first, are you? Or is it Stefan?
Stefan will start.
Okay, Stefan, sorry. Over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for inviting us. It's nice to have this workshop to share our experiences and discuss some questions with you. The first time I heard about AI tools that could help with writing was in August 21. And from then on, I tried to follow it a little bit. And I gave a presentation on it for members of different faculties in October 22. So that was a month before ChatGPT was launched. And when it was launched, I was very surprised, but it was not, we already had talked about it with several people. So we knew already at that time, okay, this is not small, this will probably become big. We should take some measures and discuss this. So we had some discussions with the board, and we start, okay, we have to go on and think of guidelines for teachers. And so that was the start of it. And that was the beginning of my story about GenAI. I hope it goes with the slides. Yes. So the first thing we did was we made a kind of website where we combined all the info on GenAI, and it's this one. You can take a look at it. And from the beginning on, we decided, okay, we have to go on with GenAI. We have to teach or to give our people guidelines so that they can use it in a responsible and critical way. And we made guidelines as well for students, teaching staff, and researchers. We prepared those guidelines, and therefore we got the help from experts in AI and the technology, but also experts on copyright and intellectual property. And we collaborated on that with the research coordination office and the teaching and learning unit. I did not mention, but Lien and I am working on the teaching and learning unit. So we prepared those guidelines in February, April, and we launched them in May, June, just before the examination started. Now we are in 2024, and as you can see, the European Commission referred to us on their guidelines to what we had set up. And as KU Leuven, we opt for transparency on the use of generative AI. We want our users to verify the output, to respect personal data and confidential information, and they also always remain responsible for what they do with generative AI. These are the general principles. And then we got guidelines for teaching staff, students, and researchers. I will go not in detail, but summarize the most important guidelines for teaching staff. And that are that we want them to communicate the general principles. I will give more detail later, but that they've mainly clearly inform the students or what is allowed and not allowed. And that they also inform students about how to be transparent about use of Gen AI, and students remain fully responsible. So it means that students have to be transparent on the use, so that teachers are still able to fairly and correctly evaluate the knowledge, understanding, and skills of the students. And if necessary, we expect that teachers also share the guidelines specifically developed for using Gen AI in research. Now, what are these guidelines? What do we allow or not allow on the use of Gen AI? First of all, these are general guidelines, and teachers can put extra measures on top of that. So they can be more strict if they think it's necessary. But if there are no guidelines, then students may use Gen AI as a language assistant, because there are other tools they can use for this, and they do not have to mention that kind of use. Yeah, so it's used to review text, to improve text, and things like that. What we also allow is that they use Gen AI as a kind of search engine, as an inspirational tool to get some first information. But if they use it, they have to verify it and check if the information is correct. If they write then in their own words, they don't have to mention it. If they copy paste parts, then they have to cite their sources. What do we not allow is that they use it as a text generator. Any form of copy pasting is not allowed. It might be allowed by the teacher, but then they also have to cite their sources. So these are the general guidelines. And as I already mentioned, teachers can add their own guidelines depending on their course or the task they give to the students. So those guidelines for students are in fact the same for researchers, but there are some additional guidelines for researchers because, sorry? Okay, because you can use it in certain steps in the research to generate new ideas, but then you have to check the ideas because they might come from existing sources and you do not want to plagiarize them. They can use it to generate code, but they also have to check the code for errors, but also if it's already an existing code. And if they use it, then they have to mention the use of Gen AI. There's another thing with the use of Gen AI for generation of synthetic data. It's possible, but they have really to evaluate the quality because there might be bias within those generated data. And if they use it like that, they also have to mention it. And another way to use it in research is for data analysis or visualization of research results. And then they have to check the output and refer to the method or model used. What we strongly disadvise is that they use it to peer review for project applications of manuscripts, because you do not know if you feed those tools with material from other people, what will happen after that. So if there is no protected mode, you can use it that there is no further training. We strongly disadvise to use it. So and now I give the word to my colleague, Lien, who will go on.
I'll go a bit more deeper in how we support teaching staff. Some of the supporting strategies are already in place. Some of them will be realized very soon. But first of all, I'm going to tell you a bit on how we are structured. So we are structured within a network, which is called KU Leuven Learning Lab. So it's a university-wide network for educational innovation. And we have, first of all, a steering committee with the different policymakers. We also have a coordination team, which consists out of educational developers and representatives of both central units and science groups and faculties. So that's a bit how we are structured so that you can get an idea of how those supporting strategies, how they work within this network. First of all, we're all together in a Teams environment. We have a Teams channel, and we have 4 big threads in that channel where we have general discussions about AI, think of things about ethics and things like that. A thread where we can ask questions to each other. Those could be questions for have you experienced this or that, but also questions for our special committee or for the central services. So all kinds of questions related to Gen AI come in there. We also signal events in a thread, and we also highlight or spotlight interesting materials such as articles, little movies, and so on. It's quite a lively Teams channel, I would say, and it's nice to exchange in that way. What else do we have? We are setting up a train the trainer actually next week, where we, Steven and I, will give a session so that the educational developers can reuse that session then to give it within their faculties or within their science groups. And next to that, we also have a crash course, which delves a bit more deeper into different aspects of Gen AI. Another thing that we have is the Day of the Educational Developer. It's an event that we organize every year, and then we kind of zoom in into one topic. Today, it's actually tomorrow, the event. But I was going to say that this year we are zooming in on Gen AI, of course, and it's a day with a keynote. We have 8 different optional workshops where educational developers can choose different topics according to their work. And it's always a nice event also to get to know everybody around this topic. What else are we doing? We are developing a lot of web pages and websites. This is just one example where we give information, but we also try to ask the educational developers on what are topics that you would need or what you would like to see in different websites. So we've got quite a long list to go. And then what else we have? We have an AI expert commission. We've just assembled it. But the goal is that if there are certain questions, for example, around copyrights, around AI, that we can contact certain people within that commission to have a look at that question. Depending on the question, we also have a different establishment of the committee. Within the committee, we have professors with different expertise when it comes to AI. We have, we are in it. We also have people from the libraries, from the research coordination unit, and so on. So it's quite a nice commission to ask the different questions too. And something that we will set up in the future is that we applied for funds together with the Research Coordination Office and the KU Leuven Library so that we can invite external speakers on this topic to further develop our knowledge about it. That's kind of a bit the overview about the different supporting strategies that we have and how we're currently working. So we're very curious if you have some questions for us.
Thank you, Lien and Stefan, much appreciated. Maybe you could just stop sharing for a moment, if you don't mind. Thank you. There are a couple of questions that I'm very happy to put to you. First of all, I think also your presentation and Jane are very similar. And other 2 presentations this afternoon are much more on production in use of AI and production settings. So I think it's good to kind of pause here and pick up some of these more general questions about the services. There's a very specific one there from Kurt. If you see that, Stefan, that was for you. If you don't allow it for generating texts, do you then create extra forms that are fully controllable? Because you cannot really check the usage by students. Do you see that?
Yes, so the question, if you do not allow it, how do you check for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not easy. I'm in the commission where we discuss irregularities, like the use of Gen AI where it is not allowed. And we do not use a detector anymore, so we stopped using it. Turnitin it was, but for known reasons, you do not use it. And then it depends on the indicators you have to go on and see if there's something wrong or not. And then you have to discuss with the student. That's the only way that works in our, we use at our university.
Yeah.
So checking it is not easy. And the only thing you can do is an on-campus exam to really guarantee that GenAI is not used.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you. There's a question then also from CK. Do you think the guideline is well integrated into the daily practice at the university? Can you share a few key challenges that teachers face so far?
If it's well
Integrated, yeah.
yeah, that's difficult to know at this moment.
Yeah.
But
You hope it is.
Yeah, we hope it is, and from what I hear, yes, it is. But the main challenge is that a lot of teachers are not aware of what is possible with GenAI. So some think it's just a tool to have fun, to write a love letter to someone and things like that, but you cannot use it in a serious way. So that's the first thing to create awareness about what is all possible with it. And I think, yeah, the guidelines are used whenever possible, but we are still working on that. And then the second part of the question, can you share a few challenges teachers have? So, yeah, the main challenge is now for certainly those who have writing tasks, how to go on, because we know you know that students can do it with AI. How can I adopt it? Most are not thinking of a whole other kind of task or to integrate the use of Gen AI, but to use it more to critique it or to compare it and add something onto it. And if you use it like that, then you mostly will need a kind of discussion with the students to really be sure that they have a good mastery of what they've submitted.
Yeah, yeah. I was just wondering, I mean, you have a commission, which is I just wonder how busy you are at the moment. I mean, is it something that, it's a very hard question, but are there lots and lots of disputes and discussions at the moment? It's a big university, you live in, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just starting up. So the first meeting has to be settled. So we didn't meet already. There are some questions already. We are preparing for it. So it's not that we expect loads of questions. That's not the case. But yeah, we will have to see how it goes. But we were inspired by other institutes where they have this kind of commission, and also because there are still some things we say you cannot just have one look at it. You have to look from different perspectives to this because there's legislation issues, education things which have to be combined and things like that. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Jane. I see you replied to that question earlier from Alistair about how you actually manage all the different tools and how you can kind of keep an overview from the point of view of the ethical values of different tools. So thank you for that. Is there any other questions anyone wants to raise at this stage? I don't see anything else in the chat. Anyone want to switch on the microphone for a quick question? Feel free.
I saw that somebody asked if some of the images were.
Oh yeah, sorry, Jane. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, they definitely are.
5 minutes ago. They were made 5 minutes ago.
We thought you had your presentation ready 2 weeks ago. There you are now.
So we should have mentioned that we used AI, but
yeah, we should have.
That's true, actually. You know, you're applying your own rules. Okay, so AI was used in the generation of this presentation.
It's her fault.
Yeah, it's mine. Sorry, too enthusiastic.
Thanks very much for the quick view of how you're managing. It's really good to see it in action. And I think we are going to move on to our. It was a compliment indeed. We're going to move on then to our next presentation. As I said, we're going to change gear slightly for the next two presentations, but I'm delighted to welcome Markus Tischner from Friedrich Alexander University in Erlangen. Markus, over to you.
Yeah, hi to all. My name is Markus Tischner. I'm head of media production of the Innovation in Learning Institute at our university in Erlangen. And in this function, I produce media, I give trainings and hold presentations like today. And I will share my screen in a few seconds.
Thanks, Markus. We see your desktop at the moment, and now we see your screen. Thank you very
Yes.
much. Good to go.
So today I'm talking a little bit about AI as co-creator for learning content production, and we will look into a few practical examples how we use AI as co-creator. But first of all, I have to give you the hint that this is, in Germany, we say it's a pig scallop. If there's not much time to tell a huge amount of stuff. And therefore, I created this picture to show you the pig scallop in Adobe Photoshop. The prompt was several pink pigs run to the camera through a typical street of a German village of the 19th century. And then we got this. Very useful sometimes, but mainly we use it for other purposes. AI as co-creator. Statement number one is AI is a great source for inspiration in structuring first ideas, and it helps with optimizing the media. In between, there is something different. There are so many tools today that help us. I don't know if you know this website. There's an AI for that. And if you look close, you see there are about 12,000 AI tools for 15,000 tasks and so on and so on. And nobody has an overview. But let's dive into the practical use. If you are producing learning media, you have different stages. At first, you have first ideas, then you define your learning goals and define optimally how to assess. Then you define your learning content. You produce your learning content, and then you have a kind of a post-production stage of your learning content and to bring it all together. And in every stage, AI could help us. But the good news is it's a co-creator. We need educators for the creation process in between the first ideas and the post-production. I don't know how many of you already used AI for the first idea, for the first ideas. Everybody of you probably will have had the experience that you can't use it to 100%, but maybe to 30%, and it's inspiring and so on. For the first ideas, we use one tool. For example, here it's Tutor AI. And with this tool, you are able to, I come in here with my browser. You can put in just an idea, or a topic. Make me a course. This is specialized on creating learning courses. Produce me a course about the cognitive theory of multimedia learning. And if you just push this button, normally something is happening. Here. Then Tutor AI is producing several modules. Okay, introduction to cognitive theory, multimedia principles, important topic of the theory, application, and effective multimedia strategies. Not bad for the first throw. These are our 4 modules, and then we can dive deeper. And let's say, okay, let's work out the module about the multimedia principles. And then Tutor AI suggests some lessons. For example, introduction to multimedia principles and cognitive theory. In multimedia design, contiguity principle, coherence principle, and the application with practical examples. And then we can more dive in, and then Tutor AI produces text about this, yeah, and explains the contiguity principle. So you see, within a few clicks, we got much content in a very structured way. Yeah, but of course, this is only for getting inspirations. Yeah, we even here could make a quiz. Yeah, what is contiguity in multimedia design? Multiple choice question. I can't go deeper much more, but this is one tool very good for the first step. But you, of course, could never use this. You have to read this and have quality control and put some more things on it, of course. This was to structure ideas. There are other solutions on the market to make complete courses. Yeah, is it possible to make a complete course at your fingertips? Yeah, for example, with this guy, minicoursegenerator.com, it is possible to have very rough overviews of certain topics. If you want to explain somebody the cognitive theory of multimedia learning in a very rough way, and you want to give him a very structured way, you can use this one. I come here. And this is a whole course. Yeah, the prompt was just make me a course about the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, and that was it. And it produced here a whole course. It is editable as well, so you would get here. Here is the structure: introduction, understanding multimedia learning theory, designing effective multimedia tools, and so on. And you can use this for a very rough overview. But if you produce learning content in higher education, you have to go a little bit deeper. There is one point, very new, almost brand new topic is the H5P Smart import. H5P is widely used in the educational sector as an authoring system for interactive learning content. And at the beginning of this year or end of last year, H5P published Smart Import. It's a kind of an add-on you can use with a commercial version of H5P, not h5p.org, but there's the commercial version of the company Huyghe, which developed H5P originally, and they have a commercial version, and then you can create complete courses. Yeah. And you put in a video or a text or an audio file, and then you just push the button, and then it produces a finished interactive book in H5P, which of course you also couldn't use in a whole. But here in this case, I put in this video. It's a 9-minute, roughly 9-minute video about flipped classroom, of the concept of flipped classroom. And then it made the video interactive. Here's, oh, sorry. Let's go to the course. It's complete interactive book. I go into the full screen. Here is the video, which is made interactive. Here's the transcript. And then it produced automatically a glossary of all the terms that are used in this video. It produced some concept cards. It produced multiple choice questions, 8 or 10. It produced drag the word, flashcards, and summary. But of course, not everything here is usable, because the smart import feature doesn't know where are your priorities, yeah, how relevant is one topic or the other. And so it comes that some concept cards or quiz questions are relevant, others are not, yeah. But it's amazing how good it fits. What is one of the key aspects of flipped learning you can use? Flipped learning integrates into the student's digital life, fill in the missing word. There are really good questions, but of course you have to edit it to publish this. But this is a great help, because as you see, it is interactive finished content of H5P already, and then you can edit it here. Here's the edit button, and then you are in the known H5P authoring user interface. The current status is the so-called declarative knowledge, or, for example, which kind of bicycles do exist, facts or know what works well. Procedural knowledge doesn't work well. For example, how to ride a bike, processes and so on. For this kind of knowledge, this doesn't work very well now. But today I tell you something, and in 2 weeks the world is completely different. You know. This was in our pig scallop media learning, learning media production, structuring learning content, and the second thing where AI works very well as a co-creator is media optimization. Today I don't talk very much, or almost nothing about the generative AI. Everybody talks about how to make a good picture or to a video and so on, but our daily use is media optimization. It's a huge time saver, and we have many points: audio optimization, color matching in video production. We can remix songs, we can edit text-based, we can sharpening pictures in a much better way than traditionally possible. We can transcribe videos, we can make subtitles and so on. And I will show you a few examples of this. Beginning with the voice optimization. This is an AI feature. It's incredible what this does, and it wasn't possible till a few months ago, I would say. What's now native in Premiere Pro. Here we see the user interface of the editing system Premiere Pro, and we have a very bad. This is an interview, and the person is standing in a very loud environment. Let's hear it. Oh, did I? Last time I forget to.
Don't think you enable sound.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
Every time. So now sound is enabled, I think. Let's hear the interview without audio optimization.
Tsunami, pelo próprio terremoto em si, e portanto é necessário tomar ações para que a cidade fosse reconstruída, para que a população fosse reordenada, digamos assim, para que se cuidasse dos vivos, para
noise,
que tudo que estava em caos fosse resolvido, digamos assim. A figura mais proeminente dessa época é o Marquês de Pombal, na altura era secretário de Estado, e ele liderou uma equipa de vários ministros e também uma equipa de engenheiros militares que estavam responsáveis por reconstruir a cidade.
And that's not all. Here we even have the my colleague Sonia was standing behind the camera and asked our protagonist something. And this is, of course, we don't want to use this, but just for showing what is possible. This voice.
Mas também porque houve grande avanço para a cidade, avanço para a ciência.
You can't hear it even, but if I push this button.
Sua grande avanço que teve, mas também porque houve muita.
Also, this voice is suddenly usable. Yeah. Other example with native possibilities is I have here this remix feature. Let's say I have here a little teaser video that should be 1 minute long. It's about master study learning design we do, and I found a song which fits very well, but this song is way too long. I want it to be, let's say, 58 seconds or so, and then I can go here on the remix feature. Here you see the thing is analyzed now. Takes a few seconds, and now we have it 1 minute. And this thing is perfect here. These lines you see, these are the stitching points, and let's see here if you hear anything at these stitching points.
Bildung an Schulen und Hochschulen. Neue Konzepte.
Nothing, yeah. This wasn't possible without AI. For another example, yeah. Or you can transcribe videos, as I told you already. This is automatically made in, I had to check the language. And here we have an English interview. And I can just push this transcribe button, and it is automatically transcribed in Premiere Pro. That's also a feature of AI, which is a huge time saver. If you think about, you have 3 hours of interviews or so, you can transcribe it, and then you can go through it. That was 3 hours interview were hours of work. And now you can even choose, okay, this sentence, this is important for me. Then I can copy it in the clipboard. Oh no, it hang up. I don't know why. I come back to the text window. That's the problem with live work. Sorry, here's the text window. If I decide to use this paragraph, I can copy it in the clipboard and paste it here. And maybe the next, this is my second paragraph I want to use, and paste it here. And so it is possible, this feature is called text-based editing. And so you can use a person who doesn't know much about editing, and this person could do the rough cut, just by choosing the interesting sentences. These are just a few examples for this restoration. I could tell hours about these topics, but today we don't have so much time.
Thank you, Markus. No, it's really interesting. I'm just wondering what you do with all that extra time you've now suddenly got back.
Unfortunately, doing 10 minutes instead of 10 videos instead of 5.
Yeah, this is the issue, of course, isn't it? There's a couple of questions that have come in. First of all, Jane was asking about H5P. Is it usable in several languages? Do you know? Do you know
This
that?
smart import feature,
Yeah.
till today, unfortunately, only in English, but they told me it's on the roadmap, of course. Yeah. Some tell this year maybe, but it's very vague till now.
Yeah.
There's another solution called Knowledge. It's Knowledge, Knowledge, and they do the same, except that you can't edit the content then, which is totally unusable in my eyes.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you every time need to edit such kind of content. But they are in alpha stage with other languages as well already.
Question from Pranit in Leiden University. How accurate is the transcription? Do you notice several, do you notice
Which
errors?
from the H5P?
Or
from Premiere Pro?
I think from Premiere Pro at the time. I think it was when you were showing Premiere Pro.
Yeah, because the H5P smart import feature also transcribes.
Yeah.
The transcription is, I would say, it depends a little bit on the clarity of the speech of the speaker. But if you have a good speaker without very you have a recognition. What I think 97 to 98% or so. Sometimes it have difficulties with full stops and commas and so, and it sets commas where a full stop is needed and vice versa. And therefore you have to go through the text, of course. But it's amazing how accurate it is. It's a huge time saver anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, although I think Andre's sort of saying the same thing, that you get minor errors, it still takes a lot of time to listen and correct manually. So sure, you're saving time, but don't underestimate the amount of time it's going to take you to
It's
correct.
not 100% automatically,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
And just a final question before we move on to Serge. Any AI tools for customization to a specific cultural context? Anybody got any thoughts on that? Customization for specific cultural context? Nobody, I don't see Lien, Stephen, nobody nodding at the moment. Okay, if anybody's any thoughts about that for CK, maybe they could put that into the chat as well. Thanks, Markus. You can stay with us until the end, if that's okay. We're going to move on in the same general direction. Another practitioner, educational media producer. I'm delighted to welcome Serge de Beer. And Serge is going to talk us through his experiences of using AI in the educational media production zone. Serge.
Thank you, Sally. I will share my screen. Do you see my screen now?
Yes, see it fine now.
Okay,
Thank
good
you.
afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much. I will talk to you today about evaluating learning and performance with the use of video, data, and AI. First, I have to step a little bit back in history because I started 2017 with analyzing learning data with AI. And what we did was try to make a prediction about the marks students get 2 years later. So we looked at all the different topics and we collected them together, and then we let AI make some prediction about certain topics. And based on that, the prediction, we gave, for example, educational videos to the students to raise the mark. That's how we started. But with the coming of generative AI, the possibilities are raised, and so we have a lot of possibilities to add extra things to our data, and that's why we started experimenting with show the next slide, with collecting data. And what we did was a exercise. It was last Monday, so this is all very fresh. Last Monday we did a firefighters drill, and we want to see how they work together and how their condition is in specific movements they make and things they do in a rescue. And we need to collect all these data. And what we did is we gave every firefighter a smartwatch or a heart rate detector. And we collected this data with a hub. It's a hub from Idealytics. It's an external company. And it gave us a lot of insights of how the data works and how the heart rate works in every movement and every moment in time. It's possible to not only have the personalized data collected, but also other data like the weather at the moment. In firefighting, heat is a big problem. And it's important to know what weather it was. Is there a lot of wind or sunshine, things like that? And it's also possible to collect machine data or software data. So if you translate this firefighter example into your educational use, you could say we use it as an examination of virtual reality exercise or a medical simulation or any other thing you can imagine. We didn't only use data, of course, but we wanted to use video also. And on my next slide, you will see how we collected the video. And we used body cams. Maybe you've seen this one before. It's the one the police also use. And well, it's not very good resolution, but it's usable. And we experimented with a GoPro, the one like this, with a clip on it. The good thing about the clothing of the fireman is that there's a lot of possibility to connect your GoPro, and it has a very high resolution, so that was very good. And I also installed a mini camera, a point of view camera in the vehicle, so we could use see the firefighters working and also the dummy they used. And I had one handheld camera. I walked around the vehicle and I can move in or move out or show the activities outside the vehicle. And with all those cameras used, it's very important that you sync them together so they all have the same time. And what we used was a clapboard that's used in filmmaking. And it's not a normal clapboard, it's one with a real-time time code on it. So I show you a little video where we sync the cameras. It doesn't have any audio, so I first sync the camera in the car. And then with all the men wearing a camera and the handheld camera together, we synced the video. So in the editing process, we can put all the video layers together and put them exactly in the same time. When it's all recorded, the data and the video, we can put it together. And what you see here is the view of 3 of the cameras. And these are all synced. And we have one spot empty. That's where the data information comes in later. I will play this video now for you. I will tell a little bit about what the problem is. The dummy got his arm stuck here between the car and the chair, and it has to be released. And what they use is a ram, and this thing, the action called cross ramming, and they place a RAM in the vehicle, and they make it. They put it back in the real old position, and that is what you see the firefighter in the back seat is doing now.
Maar deze gaat eruit, hè?
Take some time. That's what the action was, and at the same moment we collected the data, what they did in that situation, and what we do is translate this data with AI to video. So we first import the audio into the AI, and then we create a script in Python. And the Python script is generating any video we want. So we have a video with the beats per minute only, the time, or we can say the number one in Dutch firefighting. The number one is 101, and the number two firefighter is 102. And we can also represent the heartbeats in a graphical way. And in the end, we can put this all together, and we can put the data on this spot. So as you can see here in this video. And what we want to do when we have this all together is do some analyzing of this video and data, because that's the aim of this this video. So that we can see how they worked together and what their heartbeat was at the moment they did the work, and where we can see all the peak performance moments. And that's important for the firefighters to have some extra training. There are a lot of options. We can do manual analyzing. So we can, I build a tool where you can give comments at certain moments in the video. So you click on the video and you say, oh, I see he doesn't wear any safety glasses there. So that's a point we want to see back in the video. We can also do voice analysis. In this example, there's not too much voice, but it's possible to have the boss of the firefighters give a comment live when they are working, and we can translate it with OpenAI Whisper. And based on these voice comments, we can automatically edit the video. We can, of course, also do data analytics. We can say every moment where the heartbeat is over 120, I want to see this one in the video. And you can automatically edit the video. And something new is video analytics. It's already possible in OpenAI when you use the API, but you have to translate the videos into images first. But with the new Gemini 1.5 Pro, we can put the whole video in it, and we can ask any question about this video. This is what I wanted to show you. If you want to create this thing yourself in a simple form, then you can at my workshop at the Media and Learning Conference. And